I'm Lisa Magnuson from Top Line Sales, and I am the winning 5X deals expert. We're going to talk about something today that is really going to make a difference for your teams. So, if you're a sales VP, a savvy sales manager, or an experienced account executive or account manager, what you're going to learn about today is some simple steps to understanding why you win. And by understanding why you win, you can literally replicate those big wins. I call them 5X wins over and over again, which is exactly what everybody wants. So I just like to start with a success story. One of my clients was in the shipbuilding business, and they have really never thought about their sales process and even specifically their big deal process. And they needed some big contracts that year. So we dove in and we really understood with the ones they had won in the past, why they won. We took the steps that I'm going to talk to you about today and really dissected those big wins so we could replicate them. And that's exactly what we did. We just set about to replicate those steps. And that resulted in a $40 million contract for them. And not just the one, many contracts. That was just the biggest. So we have a really good show for you today. All right. All the content that I'm going to be talking about today is based on the concept of an engine that drives 5X wins. And I'm going to show you, I know you can't see the details, but this engine or this success formula is what we're going to be spending all year going through. We're going to be going through the key parts of this success system. And this success system follows exactly the plays in my playbook, the Top Sales Leader Playbook. And if you choose to invest in this book, it's available on Amazon, then you can get this assessment for your organization as a free gift, which can be downloaded from my website. So if you choose to invest in the book, save your Amazon receipt number, go up to my website, www.toplinesales.com, and you'll see a book page. And if you enter that receipt number in, you can get this in the form of an assessment. It's a 4-page assessment. And I use it with all my clients. So understanding why you win is one of the fundamental parts of having a 5X deal system that really generates those big wins repeatedly, not just once. So what do? How do you start? If you want to understand why you win, you need to gather the account team that was part of, maybe it's a recent big win. And when I say 5X wins, I mean about 5 times your average deal size. So if your average deal size is about $100,000, then a 5X win is going to be $500,000 for you. That generally works for most companies and most industries. So you're going to gather the account team of your most recent deal or deals, and you're going to get them together and you're going to just start by brainstorming. Why did we win this big contract? And just get all the ideas and get everything out on the table. And really just think creatively, think out of the box, think beyond the closing part. Then you're going to kind of dial that in a little bit more. So you're going to say, what was the time period that it took us to get that deal from beginning to end? So from the time we first started, maybe it was when we first started getting together as an account team, doing strategy work, all the way through contract. But whatever that was, what was that time frame? Was it 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? That's helpful information for other account teams to really know what that road is, what that runway is to start to contract for these big deals. The other thing that's helpful is, how did the deal start? Did this deal, is it an existing customer? Was it a new logo or a new prospect for you? Did it come as a lead from marketing? Did it come as a referral? Did it come from a cold call? Or some sort of outreach, maybe a show, networking, whatever, but how did it start? very helpful information for other teams to know how to get the ball rolling. Then the other thing you're going to need to talk about is what were those critical success factors at each stage of your sales process. Example of that might be, at what point did you get an executive sponsor? Was that in the develop stage? Was that prior to the develop stage? Also, during the qualify stage, what kinds of things, what were those critical success factors, the 2 or 3 things that you did during the qualify stage that really made a big difference? The other thing that is going to be important to dive into as you're really doing this anatomy of a big win is who were the key relationships? And of those relationships, which ones did you have? Which ones did you need to develop? And how did you create engagement with those relationships over that time period? And that really gives you a very good idea of all the people on the prospect or client side that were involved with this big deal. Now, the flip side of that is your account team. So who were the people that were part of the account team? And don't just think about the obvious people, you and the 2 or 3 people from your company that are compensated on the big win, but who was the full team, the resources? Was marketing involved? Was legal involved? Were there some executives on your side involved? Professional services, the BDRs or the customer success team. There's lots of people that come in and out over this period of time to really help this win. And who were those people? Identify them, because that also is helpful information when you want to replicate your success. And then you really want to understand what kind of strategy work did you do internally to keep that momentum going. Examples of strategy work might be relationship mapping, SWOT analysis, thinking about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, both from your perspective and the customer's perspective. Maybe you had to do some competitive analysis and develop competitive blocks. Rarely do I find my clients winning 5x deals without a competitor involved. And sometimes the competitor is just the status quo. The prospect or the client staying with the status quo. You still need to think about that situation as a competitor. So what kind of strategy work did you do over time to really move, to advance your sales process going forward? And lastly, what were the roadblocks? There's always roadblocks. Rarely do these things go smoothly. Examples of roadblocks are you are in the middle of a huge 9-month process trying to develop this prospect in this big 5x deal. And maybe your executive sponsor that you worked so hard to get to, maybe that person transfers to another division or another department, or maybe they leave the company altogether. And now you're without an executive sponsor. That's a roadblock. So what were those roadblocks that came up for you during this sales process, and how did you handle it? Good teams think about not only what they need to do, but what they need to anticipate. So, you know what the great news is about all of this? Everything we talked about is in your control. Everything. So we are talking about basically getting your account team together. And if you've got lots of 5x wins, or you've got multiple teams, or you've got an industry focus, you can replicate this again and again, and basically doing an anatomy of that win and capturing those things that caused you to win, and then sharing them throughout your sales organization, whether it's in team meetings or sales meetings or however you share them, but get the word out that this is how we win 5x deals. And now that you have the roadmap, you know exactly where to start. And that's the road that leads to repeated big deals for your sales organization, which will change the course of your year. And I always like to end with one of the most satisfying things that account teams do when they win those big deals is to ring the bell. And I love having that time with my clients where we kind of go, you know what, we did it. We get to celebrate. And part of that celebration, once sort of the fun part is over, is that really going back and doing the retrospective about how did we win and why did we win. So thank you for your time and attention today. Again, I'm Lisa Magnuson. My website is www.toplinesales.com. You can find me on the Sales Expert channel on the Bright Talk Network every single month, the third Thursday of every month at 8 a.m. Pacific time. We are going to be going through all the pieces of creating your 5X deal engine. And by the way, if you want more resources now, go to that website, www.toplinesales.com. I've got some great resources there. I've got a free pre-call planning guide. I recommend that for everybody. It's hugely beneficial. It's something I use with my clients every day, and lots more. So see you next month, and thank you.